Welcome to the Addicted to DVC Podcast, a deep dive into all things Disney Vacation Club. We share tips, tricks, and insider info, helping you make the most of your membership. Join us for the latest news, reviews, and interviews with DVC experts and enthusiasts. Whether you're a seasoned DVC member or considering your first contract, this podcast is for you. Now, here are your hosts, Mike Hurley and Gary Arruda.
Welcome to the Addicted to DVC Podcast with Mike and Gary. This is episode 4, recorded in the DeFont Leroy Recording Studios in Sarasota, Florida, and Cranston, Rhode Island. I'm your host, Mike in Florida, joined by my co-host and cousin, Gary, up in Rhode Island. Good evening, Gary.
Good evening. How are you today?
I'm fantastic.
That's good.
Could be better, but I'm a broadcast professional.
Could be better. What's going on?
Could be better. Well, we're joined by Suzie.
Hello, Suzie. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Thank you for joining us on our new endeavor.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Brody's in studio for those of you watching on our YouTube channel.
Enjoying his time in the sun, isn't he?
Yeah, he was out in the pool for a while. He doesn't swim, but no, he was on the sun shelf.
He likes that.
We brought him out. Yeah, he sits on the sun shelf, and
he likes to be on camera too sometimes.
Yeah, he's a ham.
He can be for sure. So what's going on? What's new?
Not much. Not much. No.
Are you anticipating? Have we broken the news? You have a nice shirt on. Is there?
We have no news. We're going into it'll be day 28, 29 Oof. by the time this airs.
I don't think we've mentioned it. What you're waiting on? Maybe you don't want to jinx it. You want to wait.
Does it matter?
Not really, unless the person that's
she's kind of hoping that Disney buys it back. That's kind of terrible, isn't it?
Are you? You're having second thoughts already, Suzie?
Well, it was kind of thrust upon me rather suddenly.
This could be a whole different DVC show, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to discuss that on a future episode without Suzie here. Oh, wow. Strategies for getting partner buy-in.
Yeah, exactly. It's a slippery slope, as you well know, don't you?
Oh, it certainly is. It's definitely a slippery slope. But we can, we'll just beat around the bush for a little bit. We can get into more detail in a future episode. I think we have a lot to get into this week, don't we?
We do. We are finally going to be discussing our DVC Mediterranean cruise.
Ooh, part 1 of 63 coming out.
Part 1 of 63. You will be here for the next 63 Sundays. With yours truly and my cousin and co-host up in Cranston, Rhode Island.
Negative.
Now we're going to start, though, with this DVC cruise. So I don't think we really talked about it on this show at all. So if you want to give a little bit of a background, the dates and all that good stuff to start.
So every year they do a DVC cruise. It's for direct members only. I'm sure you'll be able to try to figure a way to get onto that cruise. You don't want to go on a cruise. So they usually have it in the Caribbean. And was this the first time that they had it in the Med?
I think so. I'm not 100% certain.
So we basically just called the DVC number and we just called that 800 number, the guest what do they call that? Customer service, member services. And we just booked it right over the phone.
And this is your first cruise, and it was
This is my first cruise. This is my first time going over the pond. This is my first time for a lot.
This was not dip your toe in the water. This was diving right in.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So how many days was this cruise?
It was 7. Yeah, 8 days, 7 nights.
Oh. So you flew into Barcelona.
We flew to Barcelona from Miami direct. Ken Cabot followed that.
He tracked it.
That flight closely.
He had the Jurgen tracker going on.
Yep. We got in, what would you say, 7:45 in the morning?
It was basically a red eye, right?
Yeah, it was pretty early.
Yeah, it was a red eye because we left Miami at 4 in the afternoon. So
yeah. And you lose time going that way, right?
Yeah, so we would have gotten in at about one East Coast time. So it wasn't quite a red eye, but it was a European red eye.
Right. And you said you were pretty miserable that first day.
Oh, the first few days it was terrible. We did an Adventures by Disney, and you can find that on our other podcast, the WDW Beyond the Gates podcast. We did an Adventures by Disney, and I don't think I had jet lag. It's just I couldn't sleep. That was the problem for the first couple of days. I was waking up. I would fall asleep fine, and I would wake up at 3:30 and just be wide awake.
Yeah.
Exhausted and wide awake.
I had
That's
no
not
issues.
good.
Yeah, you had no issues.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, you could check out the Adventures by Disney review on our other podcast, but this we want to get into the member cruise. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
So Saturday, I mean, the Adventures, again, I won't talk too much about Adventures, but it was great because one of our guides, Marco, gathered all of our bags. He said to leave the bags outside your room by like 10, 11 o'clock that night, and he was collecting them all and getting them onto the bus for us, and they were going to transport us over to the port.
Oh, nice.
So we woke up, we had our last breakfast.
It was in the morning. We left them out in the morning after breakfast.
Oh, is that what it was? So he was gonna get them in the morning. So after breakfast, we put all our bags out, or before breakfast, and he grabbed all the bags and put them onto the bus.
So that was one of the perks of doing the Adventures by Disney, is that you were kind of the transportation and all that stuff was taken care of for the cruise.
Because I would say 100% of us were on that cruise, because that's why they do that little Barcelona escape. They plan it around cruises.
Yeah, because it's not that's not their normal. That's a shortened.
Yeah, it's a shortened one. Yeah. So I mean, if you're going back to the airport, they'll take you back to the airport. But everybody in our group we were going on the cruise. So
yeah,
they said we might be able to do something for you, but we can't make any promises. So they said when we get into the parking lot, just stay put. Marco and Rafi were going to go talk to the cruise people and see if they could do something. So they came back and they said, we hooked you guys up. You're going to be the first to get on the cruise ship, which was
nice.
Which was fantastic, because we were supposed to board at 12:30 or 1:30.
1:30, I think.
And we got there just before 11, and you can't start boarding or going through security before 11. So,
and that's usually reserved for like concierge,
and that's right? Concierge. Yeah, that's the Zach Tills of the world. So it was beautiful. What did we do? We went to the desk and they gave us like our credentials, showed them our passport and reservation number, all that. They gave us our credentials. And then they said we were going to board later, because that's what our regular boarding time was. But then we just sat over in the area with the ABD people, and
they gave us like a group to board in. And then they just, when they finally opened the boarding, they said everybody can board. So
nice.
It worked out nicely.
So another little perk.
Yeah, another perk. Yeah. Yep.
That's a big thing. People want to get on as soon as possible.
I'll tell you what, it was great getting on, because I know a lot of people want to get off, and I'm always the one. I mean, this was my first cruise, but I don't mind getting off late, just farting around and having breakfast and not having to worry to hustle off. But getting on first was good.
Sure. It's like getting your room early when you're up on property.
Sure. Yeah. Why not? Why not get on 2 hours early, right?
Now, your room wasn't ready at that point, right? But you could get on board.
It wasn't ready, but it was ready fairly quickly. We had a what did we have? We had a cocktail class first thing that we got on the ship.
We did.
Ooh.
It was called Kickstart Your Morning. And they did 3 different smoothies, one of which had an alcoholic option. The first 2 were non-alcoholic. And then they did 2 cocktails after the smoothies.
Oh, that's a lot of liquids there.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
It was. And the first smoothie they gave us was a green smoothie, which I thought I was going to hate. It was spinach and kale and avocado. And
you ended up liking it, right?
I absolutely loved it.
You said you started making those at home, didn't you?
Yeah, we make them at home. He was explaining like what the benefits are, about how it wakes your stomach up, and you should have that before you have any type of acidic drink, whether it be coffee or juice. And it was excellent. And then what was the second and third one?
The second one was the berry smoothie. It was blueberry, strawberry, blackberry, and raspberry with Greek yogurt and some honey, which was really good. I don't care for raspberry, so we've been making those without the raspberry.
There you
And
go.
then the third one was tropical. It was pineapple and mango with coconut water. And then that was the one that he said you can put coconut rum in if you want to give it a little kick.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like you were like just in Hawaii. This cocktail was spot on for a vacation smoothie. And then he brought out the big hitters. He made us a Bloody Mary, which was ridiculous.
It was so good. I am not a Bloody Mary fan. Typically, I'm not a big fan of tomato juice. This thing was so good. It wasn't super spicy.
It wasn't
had
super
a little
spicy.
bit of spice.
But it wasn't as spicy as the one that we get at Topolino's at the breakfast. So
Yeah.
But he said he makes his own base. So he said you basically buy Roma tomatoes, you grill them, and then you puree them, and then you boil them with, what do you say, salt and pepper?
yeah. I mean, the problem with this is it's going to take you 2 hours to make a Bloody Mary. So, but
yeah, no kidding.
It does sound like it would be fun. Like,
Well, but you can prep that
Yeah.
a day or two
Or like if
before
we're-
and use it.
if we were going to spend a weekend at the cottages at Vero Beach with like Gary and the kids and stuff, and we got a couple hours to kill, you guys are farting around at the beach looking at shells, and Gary and I are going to make some homemade Bloody Marys.
Grill some tomatoes for the
Grill
morning's
some
Bloody Marys.
tomatoes out back. Absolutely.
And then we
That's
had a
definitely
mimosa,
something.
which he used fresh squeezed orange juice for, and
Nice.
Prosecco. It was excellent.
So that was definitely like a breakfast themed cocktail.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Because the whole thing was called Kickstart Your Day. So
makes sense. Yeah. It's interesting with the base. So you have to boil everything after you grill it and puree it, then you cook it.
Yeah, I
again.
think you said you grill it. You just really flash grill it quick just to loosen everything up, right? And then I think that he said that allows you to peel the tomato, and then you put all that base in and boil it.
it was
and it
really
was
good.
really good.
It was
Really
good.
So that was a nice way to start our cruise.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you almost have like a tiny buzz. I'm not a day drinker, but we had two pretty strong cocktails, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say you're up to basically 3, right? The smoothie, the Bloody Mary,
No,
and
the
the
smoothie was non-alcoholic.
oh, but you could make it alcohol.
Could make it, yeah.
I gotcha. Still though, yeah, two decent cocktails
Yeah.
to start.
And then we headed over to we went upstairs,
I think by then our room
Our
ready. I
room
think
was
we went
ready.
right to our room.
and then we went and got lunch before it got too crowded
Mhm.
too.
And
So
now
what's
that
the
was
name of-
at the buffet.
Yeah, what's the name of that? The buffet?
Is it Sebastian's?
No.
Well, what
No.
ship were you on? You didn't mention that.
We were on the Dream.
We were on the Dream.
Disney Dream. Okay. Now, do you remember how many points this would have been if you didn't pay cash?
Insane.
It was a lot, right? You
Yeah.
don't remember the exact amount?
I want to say it was maybe 250 to 300
Jesus.
a person.
That's a lot of points.
Like right away, they're trying to see if you want to use points. And I'm like, we don't have enough to borrow for the next 5 years in order to make this thing happen. So, yeah, the great thing about this cruise is you can pay cash for both parties.
And that's generally a better deal to pay cash than like
It's
the
way,
point
it's
value.
it's it's much, it's a much better.
How was the room?
The room's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's bigger than a value. It's
Really?
I want to say 280 square feet.
Oh, that's decent. Yeah. That's
We
definitely
did what Zach said. We got the family veranda. The name of the quick service or the buffet, by the way, is Cabanas.
Oh, that's
interesting. Okay. Cabana's buffet.
Yep. So we went, so we checked out the room real quick, and then we ran up to Cabanas because we wanted to eat. And I'll tell you what, Disney's so expensive. It's so expensive. Go on another cruise line. I'm eating shrimp cocktail. I'm eating crab legs. I'm eating prime rib.
For lunch. At
For
the
lunch.
buffet.
I'm having
Yeah.
nice fresh salads. All the drinks are included as far as like soft drinks and coffee, and so
Yeah. And you ended up doing like the mug, right, for your beers.
Yeah. I ended up getting doing the mug. We'll explain that shortly.
Okay.
But didn't you think lunch was excellent?
Yeah, it was very good.
The service is excellent. They're constantly they'll ask you if you want a refill on your soda.
Oh yeah, they'll come to the table
They'll
and
come
they'll
to the
get it
table.
for you, and they'll hand you silverware when you're going through the buffet. And I mean, they're really on top of things.
And that's just you just walk in and they seat you right away. You don't have to have like reservation go anytime.
No, you just get a plate. You actually just get a plate, walk through the line, and then seat yourself.
Oh, that works out.
Plenty of seating, and you can sit inside. They had outside seating that we didn't realize until toward the end.
Oh, nice.
But they had like on the back deck outside seating. So I think what did we do? We went back to the room and got ready for our muster drill.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, that's right, because you have like the safety thing you have to do, right?
Yep.
Requirement, yeah.
Yep, and it is mandatory. They will scan your band. Everybody has to go through this thing. And it's all sectioned off. So basically, where our room was, we had to be like in 2A or whatever on deck 4. I don't know if they split it up on a couple decks, but you have to go out deck 4. Was it deck 4?
I don't remember.
Deck 3 or 4. And what'd the muster drill last? 20 minutes? I mean, it's basically just getting everybody to where they need to be
to
and
get
stand.
everybody there than it did to actually go through the drill.
Yeah,
like once everybody was at their correct station and everything was scanned, it was what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
It was pretty quick, yeah.
It's kind of like the flight attendants have to go through their spiel at the beginning of a flight, that kind of thing.
Right.
Like, this is what you do in case of emergency. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of paid attention to it more than I ever do with the airline, just
because it was your first cruise.
Because my first cruise, and God forbid you don't want to be in a panic. But and then we went to we did the deck party, right? The sail away party.
Yep.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, how's that? What's that all about?
Just
like a cocktail hour kind of?
No, they have like, the captain comes on and does his announcements, tells you where we're going to be cruising to, all the ports that we're going to be hitting. And then the cruise director comes on and he talks a little bit about some of the entertainment that they're going to be having throughout the week. So basically, after the announcements are done, it's like a dance party.
Oh,
you got
that's cool.
You got the Fab Five coming out.
And you love those dance parties.
Oh, I do. I actually do. I enjoyed the one at Vero Beach. They're real nerdy. But the thing with this thing, there was no kids parts. They told us, and I got 3 or 4 estimates that there was less than 200 kids. So, like, I was looking for kids to let them go in front of me because I was at the front.
But they actually had a roped off section for kids.
Oh, okay.
But like, I just didn't want. There was no kids, and I kept looking because I didn't want to be standing behind a kid who, I would have let the kid get in front of me because I was
I know what you're saying.
Right at the rope, and there were no kids. There was just no kids on this cruise.
It kind of makes sense.
It totally makes sense because of the time of the year, plus where it is,
which was part of why we booked it.
Yeah. So the sail away party was a success.
Sail away party was a success, and at that point, was it up to the spa?
Yes.
Oh, that's right, because you did the whatever that was like.
We did that package.
Yeah, the package. That's the word I was looking for. And what was that spa called again?
It's called Senses, like it is at the Grand Floridian.
Oh, okay, but it was like a pool, almost like a pool, right? Or something, like you had like a.
So they have 2 hot tubs, and then they have 10 lounges, heated lounges that are what would you call them? Like just
like
the contoured,
contoured heated lounger. So there was, it kind of hugs your body.
And you guys took good advantage of that, right? You said you went pretty much every day.
All the time. The first few hours they're doing tons of tours and trying to sell you on spa packages. So like they told us, they said, we're going to be bringing people through here for a while. And we're like, we don't care. We'll just going to chill here and read and whatever. Yeah. So we basically, we just did that.
Yep. We did that.
And then we went off.
Did we do a show?
Yeah. We went to the Walt Disney Theater.
And this is all in like the first couple hours of being on the ship.
This is all within the first couple hours.
Because you haven't even had your dinner reservation yet.
That's a negative. Yeah, because I'm trying to think. What show did we do?
We did the, what was it called?
It's in the back. It's out.
Called the Disney on Broadway Stories and Songs.
It was good. Good show.
It was fantastic.
Fantastic. It was way better than what I thought it was going to be.
Nice.
So we had the woman who originated Mary Poppins on Broadway. We had the current genie in Aladdin on Broadway. We had the woman who played Nala in The Lion King on Broadway. And then we had the original Tarzan. And so they all kind of talked a little bit about their experience, you know, how they kind of got into musical theater and their experiences in the shows. And then they each sang a song that was important to them from the Disney catalog. And then they did the DVC member song that's in all the commercials now at the end together. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really good. And what would you say that lasted about it? And it was packed. I mean, we got there at a decent time and we were all the way up top in that theater. I mean, that place was jamming. Of course, it's an at-sea day, so
yeah, everyone's looking to do something like that.
Right.
It was what? Maybe 45 minutes? It was not quite an hour, I think. I don't know, my sense of time was a little skewed.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it was about an hour.
But the ship is, it's big, but I felt like it was manageable.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it's
enormous.
one of their biggest ones. Because I'm trying to think what we did after that.
I think we had dinner.
No, we went to the 681 Club bar.
Okay.
We went there.
Was that the first night?
Yeah, that's a sports bar.
Okay.
So we went over there. I got a beer, she got a cocktail. And we kind of had half of it and then we went off to dinner.
And this was one of your rotational dining?
One of our rotational. Do you remember where we ate the first night?
We ate in the Garden restaurant. I don't remember what it was called.
So we had an 8:30 seating.
Okay. Because you picked the later ones.
We picked the later ones because we wanted to be opposite the kids.
Yeah, and you guys normally eat later anyway.
Yeah, we certainly do. Especially, I mean, I'll tell you what, as we dive into this, with getting back onto the ship 6, sometimes 7 o'clock at night. I mean, some of these people were rushing to get to their dining reservation. Yeah.
Enchanted Garden.
It was Enchanted Garden. And of course, in the first night, I got prime rib. They had like a tomato basil soup.
And you could basically order
whatever you want.
Things, right? Yeah.
Of course.
It was good. Like how would you compare it? like a high-end table service or kind
No,
of middle of the road?
it's a middle of the road. Here's the thing. I mean, they have to mass produce this stuff, so this stuff's already like on the way.
It's like 90% done, and they just finish it off. Probably.
Yeah. So, what would you compare it to?
That's hard.
Like, does it seem almost like buffet food?
No, it's better than buffet
I
food.
would say it's almost like Grand Floridian Cafe.
That's
Like that
exactly what
level?
I was. That's exactly what I was thinking. They have some fancier dishes, but as far as a quality, I would put it up with a Grand Floridian Cafe. It's not a Narcoossee's. It's not a Signature.
But it's a step above.
It's maybe a table service plus, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I got you. That makes sense to me.
And then we had 2 servers, and the girl we had, she basically just handled drinks and desserts, right?
And like bread service.
And bread service, and she was from Portugal. She had such a cute personality. She was just great.
Yeah.
The dinner party that we had, there was a party of 8, and we had a blast with these people. There was a couple from Massachusetts, and
grew up in Rhode Island.
They grew up in Rhode Island. They were from Massachusetts, and they sat at the end of the table and they didn't talk to us. And Kristen and I hit it off with the other 4 people.
Yeah.
The other 2 couples, they didn't talk, and I'm like, this isn't going to be good. And they were. So they finally turned around and they were talking to us. They they like basically fly in and have to get onto the ship. Like,
yeah, they had some travel issues.
They had some travel
really
issues,
tight.
and like after dinner, we were walking back to our rooms and we were getting in the elevator, and she was like falling asleep standing up.
Oh, jeez.
That's how exhausted she was. Well, needless to say, I mean, the next night they were wide awake and they were drinking wine, and we were just bawling. We had such a good time with these people.
So you ate with the same people every night?
Yeah, so you rotate and then you eat with the same people. And I think they do a good job because, I think they keep kids together, young families together. It seemed like everybody who was in our group were in like the late 40s, early 50s. So it wasn't like you're sitting with a 75-year-old couple. So
yeah, like one of the guys turned his 50th birthday was like while we were on the ship.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so
yeah,
right in that age range.
Yeah, so same age range. We were all on the same floor.
Yeah, on the ship. We're all on the seventh deck.
And it was great. We had a couple from Philly and then a couple from North Carolina. And I mean, everybody was just amazing.
Yeah.
We couldn't have asked for a better table. You have the option to request to sit by yourselves.
That would have been really awkward if after the first night, everyone else
yeah,
to sit by themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're just sitting there. Hi, guys.
Like I know a lot, like some of the vloggers will try to sit by themselves, where if I was I didn't vlog any of the dinner, but if I did, I would just say, hey, I put this stuff on YouTube. I'm not going to film you, but I just want to let you know. Like,
yeah, I can see that if you're filming it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you might want to be by yourself, sure.
But I mean, you know me, I'm a golden retriever. The more the merrier. Like, sit me with 12 people.
Yeah. They all got together. They're like, we don't mind sitting together. Can you just get rid of Mike? Have him sit by himself.
Yeah, let me hit that. So then after dinner, I went back to the 681 because it was time.
Okay.
To watch the PGA Championship, the 3rd round of the PGA Championship.
Oh, so you're like
I have
6 hours.
10 o'clock at night. Yep.
And they're just teeing off, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting the 3 to 4 o'clock action that you guys are watching.
Right.
It was the weirdest thing. I mean, it's late at night. I made a friend, Tim, A.K.A. Hippie Guy.
Oh, Hippie Guys, yeah.
Hippie Guy. And Tim and I watched the 3rd round of the PGA Championship. And when that concluded, I headed up to the cabin and called it a night.
Where I was already passed out.
She was already done.
So how did that mug work? Tell the people about this mug you bought.
So it's like $18 or so. And what you do is you pay for a 16-ounce pour, and the mug is 20 ounces.
Okay.
So you're getting 20 ounces for the price of 16 ounces. And when you are done, you don't have to carry the mug around with you. You give it to the bartender, and he gives you a token.
Gotcha.
So then when you go back to the bar, you hand him the token. He gives you the mug with whatever beer you want and then charges you accordingly.
Gotcha. And then at the end, they give you a brand new clean mug.
At the end, you get a brand new clean one. Or what Hippie guy said, he's got so many, he'll just take the token with him.
Oh, there you go.
So he doesn't have to take a mug, and then the next time he gets on the ship, he just uses the token instead of, because he said, I don't want to keep buying these mugs that I don't necessarily need. So you can just buy one and then just keep using the token, or, keep one at home, buy a second, and then just let the cruise ship keep that, and you just keep handing the token. And
that's interesting. Is that technically a weasel move or no?
No, because you're paying for it to begin with.
That's true.
So you're just paying for the 20-ounce pour.
Got it. Yeah.
No, perfectly legal.
I don't mind if it's a weasel move. I was just curious if it is considered a weasel move.
No, perfectly fine. Our bartender was Rosario. He was fantastic. One of the best bartenders. He knew my name. I mean, the thing that I don't understand is that I would go in there and, hey, Mike, how's it going? And I would have my Mick Ultra
already ready to go by the time you sat down.
Yes. I don't understand that. And I asked him, I go, Rosario, he goes, 5 years from now, if you're on my ship, he said, I'm going to recognize the face. He said, I'm not going to remember your name's Mike. He said, but I'm going to recognize your face, and I'm going to know that you drank Mick Ultra and Bud Light. I'm like, how do you do that?
Well, you think about the volume of people that they serve.
Of course.
Thing with the servers at dinner. I mean, especially, what was her name? Balvina?
Yeah, the little Portuguese girl. Yeah.
The first night she asked if anybody had allergies or anything like that. And I just mentioned that I don't like anything with bell peppers.
Right.
And so there were a couple of nights where she was like, oh, like the butter that they're serving with the bread tonight has peppers in it. And so I brought you your own butter. Or, you're not going to like this, so don't order that, which was amazing.
Yeah, that's one of the things everyone says about the rotational dining is like the service is just out of this world because they remember everything and they use it day after day.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that they go from you or with you to each restaurant.
Yeah. So what was your second day? Sounds like we're gonna have to do like 2 days an episode here.
Yeah, that's exactly what that's exactly what my thinking was. If we look at the time clock up there.
Sure.
So you went up and got breakfast to go.
The next morning.
You went to Cabanas and brought breakfast back to the room.
No, is this an excursion
I had
day?
My breakfast up on deck, didn't I? Oh, no,
May have.
I don't remember. No, this was a day at sea.
Okay.
So Sunday was a day at sea.
And because he had been up late, he couldn't get his butt out of bed to go to breakfast.
Hey, don't you think having beers with Hippie Guy and watching the PGA Championship is more important than getting up?
Well, I mean, I probably would have just ordered room service breakfast at that point.
Room service breakfast, I think you had to have your order out by a certain time.
Yeah, I think you have to leave it on the door.
Limited.
Yeah, I would have ordered room service lunch when I woke up then. Some chicken wings as soon as you get out of bed. That's not a bad way to start the day.
No, it really isn't. Some chicken wings and coffee.
Yeah, exactly. So this was like an explore the ship kind of day.
Yeah, we did some walking. We did the spa again.
Mm-hmm.
We did walked around the gift shops.
Did you use the pools at all while you were there?
We did not go in the pool at once. No.
Was it just a little cooler than you would like?
It was cooler and drier than we're used to.
Were a lot of people using it? Was it busy?
No, it really wasn't.
No.
It really wasn't. I mean, they have an adult only area that is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
They have a dedicated coffee shop. They have their own pool and a bar. They've got it's kind of cool because along the sides of the ship they'll have hot tubs.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can look out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's nice.
So
you said your spa had a really nice view too, right?
The spa was right off the side. So when we sat in a hot tub, you were looking out at the ocean.
That's nice.
Awesome. The sea, rather.
How are the gift shops, by the way?
They're interesting because they have a couple that are, your typical Disney hotel resort gift shops.
Yeah.
But then they have some high-end stuff, man. And I'm talking, wasn't there one away from the gift shop area? Because the gift shops were in the back or the front, depending on what your vantage point was.
There
But
was a jewelry store that was
in the
separate.
middle over
Yeah.
where you get the pictures, over in the main area where the stage was when they did all the shows.
Like behind the elevators. Yeah.
Behind the elevators, and they had watches and jewelry and super expensive stuff. Yeah.
Now, is that because like the tax stuff, like it's duty free when you buy it?
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know, but I know all the cruise lines typically have a really high end gift shop
shopping?
that sells jewelry.
We went into one and they had all kinds of high-end handbags. And I was looking at the prices and they were a lot lower than I would have expected them to be. And the salesperson said, "Well, do you know how our shop works?" And I said, "No." And they said, "These are all secondhand bags. So they're all previously used, which is why they're so inexpensive."
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is interesting.
And
But
they're
I mean,
not
some
like
of them were great. They were in really good condition. I mean, they're priced kind of accordingly, like, oh, this one's a little bit scuffed and so whatever, but it's an interesting concept.
that's weird. Like you wouldn't expect that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, because you're not going to see that at a Disney gift shop.
No, and they're not like Disney stuff. It's just like designer stuff.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Fendi and I mean all kinds of different brands. Coach.
Okay.
The gift shops, I thought they were even better than some of the resorts because they had such great specific. They had a ton of DVC Mediterranean cruise specific stuff.
Oh yeah. Nice.
T-shirts, pullovers, mugs, Yetis. They had
ornaments.
Yeah, they had a phenomenal selection.
So there was a lot of stuff that was only going to be sold on that sale.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
specific to that.
Correct. Which is surprising to me because you know how they've been over the past decade with merchandise, especially merch specific.
Well, the one thing I will say though that I noticed is some of the things didn't have the date. So they would say like the Dream of Europe. And so anytime that ship is in Europe, they can sell that merchandise.
Gotcha.
Some of it was dated.
Yeah, like the member cruise stuff would probably be dated
Right.
because they don't do a Mediterranean member cruise
Exactly.
all the time.
Every year.
Right.
But yeah, I thought the gift shops were really good.
They were really good.
Nice.
And I mean, obviously they still have a ton of, like kid stuff.
Yeah, well, that makes
toys
sense.
and puzzles and games and stuffies and that sort of thing. But know your audience.
Yeah, of course.
And then what did we do? What else did we do that day?
Didn't we do the Tony Baxter thing?
We did the Tony Baxter.
Oh, that's right.
It was
This was like an Imagineering like talk kind of thing that
yeah, it was him. It started out, what is her name?
Leslie Iwerks?
Oh, is that Iwerks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the one that started the one on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay, yeah, because he was
Imagineering.
Because he was like the original guy with Walt Disney.
Yes.
He helped design like Oswald and everything.
Yes, yep. So she basically came out and just kind of talked about that for a while. It was fantastic. And then what would you say? About 15 minutes into it, she brought Tony Baxter out.
Yeah.
And they just it was so cool. He was talking about Euro Disney and this and that. And basically you just sat on chairs and talked.
And at the end, they scooped ice cream.
Yeah, because that was his first job at Disneyland.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really neat.
I mean, it was just a cool setting. I mean, again, it was in the big Walt Disney Theater, but to have those two and it was just shooting a breeze. It was really cool.
How many people were? Was that like in the big theater as well?
It was a smaller theater.
Was it a
It
smaller
wasn't the
theater?
same theater.
Okay, so it wasn't in a Walt Disney theater.
So a little more intimate of a setting.
A little bit, but it was still a decent
A
sized
lot
theater.
of people, yeah.
Might have been in the Buena Vista. It was still a lot of people.
So is that something that like you would look forward to if they had another thing like that? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean the two shows that we went to were just fantastic.
And then,
'Cause
I
that's a
think
big-
for us it was hard to kind of prioritize because there were so many things that you could have done. But we had paid for the spa package, so we definitely wanted to make sure that we made use of that.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, well, I could go watch this movie, but the movie's going to be on Disney Plus in a couple months. So do I really need to watch it, on a big screen on a ship? Like that's not super important to me.
Yeah, that's not the best use of 2 hours in your opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
So after that, we had to giddy up because now we're going to go do the 80s music trivia.
Ooh. This is at one of the bars, or is this like its own thing?
Yeah, over down where the nightclubs are.
Okay.
So it's over in that area. It's at the 18 and over area. It's one of the bigger areas though. It's one of the bigger bars because they do a lot of, whether it be 80s trivia, 70s trivia, Disney trivia. Yeah, so we did that.
How'd you guys do?
We did well, didn't we?
We did very well.
Missed a couple
it by like half a point.
Yeah, we missed like one or two
final.
real like ones that you're going back to and kind of kicking yourself in the butt. But the tough thing was it was just the two of us. A lot of teams had 4 and 6 people, so
Oh yeah, more.
I think for
more
the two of
ideas
us,
to
We
bounce
did really
off.
well.
we did really well, yeah.
And we're, just because we're those people anyway, like a lot of times he would know the name of the song and I'd know the artist.
Oh, that helps.
Yeah.
That by
Because
the
you
way,
had to have both.
yeah, you have to have the artist and the. That will be up this week on our new YouTube channel, the new Addicted to DVC YouTube channel.
Ooh,
We'll have our
okay.
80s music trivia
Oh, nice.
up.
Play along.
Put your dancing shoes on. Oh,
There you
we
go.
were getting down. Then they gave us, hey, we weren't sure how well we were doing. They said if we got up and did the Macarena, that they would give us a full point. Remember when you made me get up and I had to go dance? And I was completely sober too. That's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
I brought a thing of water. Remember we all had to go up in a circle?
I thought that was the end.
No, it was in the middle. He said he'll give you 1 bonus point for everybody who gets up.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Oh,
But
listen
that's
in.
right. The end was a dance off.
Yeah, the end was a dance off, and one of the guys who was in the dance offs was on my Adventures by Disney.
Oh, so you
And
remember that.
he was sitting next to me, so I was vlogging it. And he's like, "Please," he goes, "don't publish this." I go, "He goes, "If I give you some money, will you not publish it?" I'm like, "No, this is going on my YouTube channel."
That would have been the first monetization we had with this podcast.
Yeah, no
you took
kidding,
some
yeah.
cash from
My
him.
first advertiser.
Yeah, to not air stuff. That's a good business model. We should get paid not to talk.
We might need to look into that.
I like that.
But it's funny too because like the staff is just so engaged. And it's like they walk a very fine line between like being cheesy and like too cheesy, if you know what I mean.
Like too nice. Yeah.
But like, the guy who ran the trivia was hysterical.
He was ridiculous.
So
And
it
he was
a
in
lot of fun.
he was in that original show, the Castaway show.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
so he's
he's
just
one of
like
the-
an overall entertainer.
He's just a performer, yeah. Because this guy would do the cheesy dancing, but you could tell he had a couple of moves.
He knew what he was doing for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like, you throwing your back out and blowing your Achilles, when you
Yeah, there'd be
tried to
some
do
of
it.
that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Doing the Elaine Bennis dance.
And then we went right from there to dinner, right?
Yeah, yep. Went to dinner.
Where was dinner this night?
Royal Palace. which is
How
like
was this
the
one?
fancy one.
That was like the French one, right? Yeah, that was good.
So the menus are obviously different each night. That
Mhm.
each restaurant has its own stuff.
And then when you go back, because they have the 3 rotational, so when you go back, they're going to have a different menu than the one that you
Oh,
when
that's
you were
right.
there
Because
3 days ago. Yeah,
you guys were on for so long, you went to each one twice.
correct. Yeah, so we're going to go to each one pretty much twice. Yeah.
Nice. What'd you get? Do you remember what you got this first time? Some onion soup, maybe a French restaurant. I imagine you
Yeah,
must
I
have
think
had
I
onion
did
soup.
get some onion soup.
I don't remember.
I
I think we
think
have
th-
the menus.
Yeah, I think this was the one where the guy talked me into 2 entrees. Actually.
Oh, that must have been hard. Must really have to twist your arm for that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm trying to think what the heck we got.
Was that your favorite of the 3 rotational dining?
I think so.
Yeah, I got the onion soup. That was that pasta dish that you said wasn't
Oh.
it? That was that lobster.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a lobster. I got like some steak medallions. They had a nice creme brulee at the end of dinner. Yeah, I got the steak and then I got the pasta with the lobster.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good.
Very nice.
My only complaint about dinner, and I don't know if it's because like we were all getting along so well and talking and everything, but like it was long. Like by the time we finished dinner, it was like 10:30.
Yeah, we were the last ones to leave.
Oh,
And
so
like, we couldn't figure out because there were like some people who were having dessert when we were still having our entrees.
so you guys probably, because it was the last seating, they weren't really rushing you guys. Because I imagine at like the 5:30 or whatever, they're like, "All right, you got to get out." Because
Yeah, I mean, they had the lights on. I mean, they were bussing tables, and we were still having dessert and coffee. I mean,
right.
we were always the last ones to
Pretty
leave
much,
to
yeah.
leave the restaurant. Yeah.
Did you do
But
anything
like
after that?
because we had early excursions pretty much every day,
Oh, that's true too.
it was, like Mike would go and hang out at the bar, and I'm like, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
Like we have to be up in like 6 hours.
That's a good point. Yeah, you guys were up early for a lot of those.
Early, yeah. And
And on the go like all day.
the next day we were going to be in Florence. So
Yeah.
did I go to bed early? No, I watched the final round of the PGA Championship with hippie guy.
There you go.
And then the bar closed, and there was still some golf left. So I went up to the bed. I put TV on. I tried to be as quiet as I could, and I watched like the last 2 holes.
Yeah. So your guy Bryson
I wasn't quiet enough. Oh, that was tough. I'm trying to keep my eyes open. I got to be up in 5 hours. But I want to see if Chef Shoffley can win his first.
Yeah.
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 But
Good
yeah,
couple.
I think Mike was more than pleasantly surprised at how much he enjoyed it.
I mean, it's just like a giant floating hotel, basically, which is what you like best about Disney, and the
There's
service
just so
is
much
even
to
better.
do. So much to do. So, because you're so used to like seeing the old tacky, the Love Boat, and like the dancing in your cocktail dress and all that nonsense. This was so much fun.
Well, because they have like bingo and stuff, right?
Yeah, they've got whatever you want to do. They've got movies. They've got new releases. There's stuff going on all the time. They've got shows.
So you could just do stuff all day, different
All
planned
day.
things. Or you could just veg out by the pool and eat a ton of food all day if you want.
Yeah, you whatever the heck you want. Yeah, it's just
nice.
It was awesome.
Any final thoughts on your first couple days, or are you ready to wrap it up here?
I'm ready to wrap it up.
Susie's ready to wrap it up.
Suzie was ready to wrap it up before we even hit the record.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Do you have any last questions before we wrap it up?
No, but I'm sure I will in the next few episodes as you go further along on these excursions. But no, it sounds like you were pleasantly surprised. The room was bigger, or
yeah,
it didn't.
It was nice.
Small.
Bed was very comfortable. Your typical nice Disney pillows,
and it didn't feel like you were out at sea. Like it didn't like sway around at all.
No,
we had one night, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
but yeah, aside from that, it was fine.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. But like, I mean, a ton of storage. Like, I mean, the split bathroom is a
Game changer.
game changer.
Alex Detweiler said that 2 years ago when he was on the show. Is just having that split bathroom on a cruise ship is
huge difference.
It's huge.
Nice. Very good. All right, why don't you wrap us up, Mike?
All right, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at DVC Addicts. Email the show info@addicted-to-dvc.com and join our Facebook group, DVC Addicts. For my cousin Gary and co-hosts up in Cranston, Rhode Island, I'm Mike down in sunny Sarasota, Florida. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Addicted to DVC podcast with Mike and Gary. We want to hear from you. Email us at info@addicted-to-dvc.com and follow us on all socials at DVC Addicts. We appreciate you being a part of our DVC community, and we'll see you again on our next episode. Thanks again for listening, and welcome home.